We're in the business of delivering impossible things. We're in the business of delivering things that nobody's ever seen before.
If you build that culture, you'll come up with really cool and innovative stuff, and literally could be the next multi-billion-dollar idea.
So this conversation is largely going to be about scaling yourself and scaling your leadership team.
I want to talk about one of the biggest struggles that I think a lot of startups face early on, which is building initial traction.
All right. Hello, world. I'm Jason Goldlist. I'm the co-founder of TechTO, and I am so excited to welcome you to a very special demo day. Huge thank you to our friends at Intuit and Highline Beta for making today possible. Here is what we have in store today. First, we have an amazing fireside chat starting in just a few minutes with Scott Cook, co-founder of Intuit, being hosted by David Marquis, country manager at Intuit Canada. Second, we're going to dive into the demos. We have an amazing lineup of 8 startups from the Intuit Prosperity Accelerator program here today to share their work. We've got Wally from Sparkblock. We got Miguel from Otis, Arshad from Rivi, Blaine from Dry Run, Aaron from Willfill, Jesse from HomeWise, Felix from Emma, and Octavia from Paper and Coin. Give me a digital virtual emoji round of applause for all of them right now. And stick around, because after the demos, we will be ending the show with my favorite part of every TechTO event, some face-to-face time with each other. We're going to be opening up networking so we can meet one another and explore how we can help each other win together. There is lots to look forward to, but the most important thing that you need to know right now is that we're not just here to listen, which we will, or to learn, which we will, but we're also here to have some fun. So if you look over here, I can see some of you have already found our emoji cannon. By clicking any of your favorite emojis, you can fire one right across the screen. Let's give it a try right now. Here, let's get some going. I got some blue hearts. I got some winks. I love it. And of course, we've got your community chat. I see many of you have already introduced yourselves. If you haven't already, do it now. We have an amazing team of moderators hanging out in the chat. We got Alana, Sally, and Andrea. They're going to be sharing information on connecting with everyone you see on stage today. And they're also giving out some prizes. And the prizes include a copy of the Lean Analytics book, a VIP Intuit box, or one of 5 Canada Helps charity gift cards that you can use to donate to a charity of your choice. So head over to the chat now to learn how to win one of those prizes. And why not share with the rest of the world how much fun you're already having? Take a screenshot of your favorite moment, maybe a video, maybe an animation, and post them on LinkedIn or Twitter with the hashtag Intuit Demo Day. And one more thing, we want you to show up as yourself. We want to know who you are. So make sure your profile is up to date. In the top right corner over here, you can click your initials or your profile photo, and you can update all your details. It's your name, your headline, even connect your LinkedIn profile. And don't be shy to explore the audience down here. Mouse over any head, click their LinkedIn and social profiles, give them a little follow, and include a short note that you found them at TechTO. All right. Now, I'd like to welcome David Marquis to the stage. Hey, David, what's going on?
Hey, Jason. Thanks so much for having me, man. I'm pumped up just listening to you. It's amazing. So happy to be here.
Awesome. The energy that's coming out of this program is incredible, and I'm excited to channel it today. And so just while I've got you here, before the fireside starts, I'd love for you to just introduce yourself to everyone and tell us a little bit about the journey that brought Intuit and Highline Beta together to create this program.
Yeah, you bet. So listen, as way of intro, I'm David Marquis. I'm the country manager for Intuit Canada. I have the great privilege of supporting our nearly 500 employees across our 2 Canadian sites in Toronto and Edmonton. So listen, on this accelerator project, it's really been a passion point of mine and is linked so closely to our mission, which is something that myself, Scott Cook, all of our employees at Intuit take really seriously, which is powering prosperity around the world. And this came even more sharply into focus last March with the onset of COVID-19 and this pandemic. We saw directly through our customers, whether the ones on TurboTax, Mint, or QuickBooks, we saw how it was impacting them, and we just wanted to do something. And so shortly after that, I was speaking to Marcus at Highline Beta, and I was trying to figure out a way, Marcus, is there some way that we can tap into this this energy, this passion and talent that we have in the startup ecosystem in Canada, there's got to be something we can do. Maybe we can do a hackathon or something to help solve some of these problems that Canadians are facing, prosperity challenges that they're facing. And Marcus had the great point. He said, David, a hackathon is great for a moment in time, but if you want something more with sustained impact, consider maybe a startup accelerator. It's something where you can bring folks together, shared mission, create a bit of a culture, create some momentum, and solve some really tough problems that way. And so that's basically what was the genesis for what became the Intuit Prosperity Accelerator, which is essentially what the name suggests. We're trying to accelerate towards, with purpose and velocity towards solving some of these problems in the wake of COVID. And so essentially it's about, hey, can we set up these startups for success and have them in turn solve for, SMB and consumer problems.
Amazing.
And so that's what we did. We came together and Highline Beta brought their process. We brought our innovation catalysts, which are internal Intuit trained employees in our special internal innovation process called customer-driven innovation designed for delight. So the program is just really successful. I feel like we became a whole big family, whether it was on our Zoom calls across, the Intuit, Highline Beta, or startups. We just felt like it was really inspiring to see everyone moving with such purpose and velocity towards solving problems. So
that's awesome. And when I see the names and the companies that have participated and just the feelings that I get from hanging out together today in this event, I can feel you guys have created something special. Thanks for sharing, David. And we're going to be meeting all those startups from the program later in the show. But first, you've got a treat for us right now, right? You're going to be having a chat with Scott, and I'm really looking forward to this conversation.
Yeah, you bet. So folks, I have the great privilege of welcoming to the stage here, Scott Cook, the co-founder of Intuit. Scott, welcome so much to Canada. Welcome to Toronto. So happy to have you here today.
Hi there, David.
Great to see you again, Scott. Thanks for joining us. So with no further ado, I want to kick it off with our first question. So Scott, today we have many startups and innovators in the audience. Would you be able to share some of your thoughts on best practices when it comes to innovation, including perhaps some concrete examples from here in Canada?
Well, let me pick two. So we have a set of methods we call Design for Delight that we developed over time as we found what produced great products. And so we decided to double down and copy and keep doing more of those techniques. The first is a set of methods around customer empathy, to get deep with customers, walk in their shoes. And I think a great example of that is what you have led up in Canada last year. We've long known that cash flow, the flow of money in and out of a business, was key to success. You run out of cash, you run out of a business. So cash is king, and that became even more crucial in the downturn, the lockdowns following the pandemic, when many businesses had to cut back, and a few businesses were growing so fast they were running out of cash. Yet the methods to figure out your cash position are really hard. Because most accounting looks backwards. It's a record of what happened in the past. But for cash flow planning, you need to look forward into the future. And most accounting systems are not set up for that. So people try spreadsheets, which is a lot of work and not very accurate at times. So what you guys pioneered is this AI-based system that's a cash flow planner now built into QuickBooks, based on the real problems that businesses have, projecting forward of, okay, if I'm hiring that employee, can I afford it? Will I get the cash to cover the salary? If I get that new equipment, if I buy stock for my business, buy inventory. And what's cool about it is that since you've got to predict the future, and that's hard for a lot of people, it uses the cash flow planner in QuickBooks uses your past, your bank account and accounting records, to do AI on those to project forward to the kind of expenses you should expect going out 30, 60, 90 days, your choice. So that if you see your cash position is suddenly going to sink, you now can take proactive action because of the AI prediction. So it doesn't sink, instead it keeps you afloat. And I think another practice of innovation, of great innovators, is experimentation, iteration. Try it with customers and learn and change. And I think one of the companies in the accelerator, Dry Run, is a great example of this. They also work on cash issues, and they tend to focus on accountants. And in doing Follow Me Homes, a method that we use to get customer empathy, they connected with a bunch of accountants and found that while accountants feel great about their compliance work, many accountants wanted to do advisory work but weren't sure how to start the conversation to become an advisor. Recognizing that problem, Dry Run said, well, let's create kind of a insights card, like a conversation starter that their software could produce, that the accountant could use to start the conversation with a client about advisory work. So they produced, and they focused on cash flow, and they produced a sample card, a prototype, and then they tested it with accountants. And they learned a bunch of things that weren't the way accountants wanted it. And it didn't work the way accountants wanted it. So they iterated once, twice, 3, 4, and eventually the 5th iteration. After 4 cycles of experiments, the 5th one was the one that worked, and that's the one they're rolling out, and I think we'll demo later today, when Blaine gets on stage. So those are 2 of the methods and some of the recent application here in Canada.
I love it. I love it. The cash flow planner was also on the QuickBooks side an example of something that we accelerated to market after COVID. So it was something that we knew could have an impact for SMBs, and something that we brought to market even faster. And it would just so happen that Dry Run was also looking at that in an adjacent space. A really great example there. So Scott, second question here. Today, we're going to hear from some of these great startups in our accelerator program whose efforts and vision really align well with what I was mentioning before, Intuit's mission of powering prosperity around the world. Can you share your thoughts on the power of mission-driven tech organizations and what that means to you?
Well, I think one thing we all know is that we're never better than our people. Our people, the best talent, is crucial to the success of an organization. And my simple observation is the best people want to work for more than a paycheck. They want to work for what their work adds up to. What's the sum total? What's the impact on the world? The best people are mission driven. And it's our goal to have a mission so compelling that it motivates all of us, and then we'll attract the best. As you mentioned, our mission is powering the prosperity around the world, because that's kind of the engine of progress. If you think of small businesses are the major hiring engine in developed countries. As small businesses prosper, they hire more, and the whole economy prospers. And it's also central to, if you're a small business person, and I started a small business that's grown, in a sense, you and that small business are almost inseparable. Its success is your success. Its failure is your failure. So prosperity is more than dollars. It's your essential contribution to your economy, to the economy, to your family. It's your self-view. It's how your in-laws view you. So that's our commitment to prosperity, and it's no accident the accelerator worked that way. There are many accelerator programs, but what's unique about the one that we have crafted together with Highline Beta is that it's mission-driven. That all of the companies there are there because of the shared mission to power the prosperity of Canadians.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I can really feel the mission. It infuses everything at Intuit, and it's something that I felt in this accelerator program too. It just gave everyone the energy, that purpose, that velocity that we've taken to solving these problems together. Really, it's one good thing that's coming out, silver lining out of this COVID pandemic. Now, speaking of the pandemic, as we're all sort of acutely aware, it has increased the need for resilience in the face of adversity. It's something that I think we've all felt in our lives, and something certainly that small businesses have faced. Can you share some examples of adversity that you have faced as the founder of Intuit and how you overcame those.
Yes, and I've found a pattern in the adversity, at least how we survived the adversity. I mean, early on, as we were building the software, this is back in the early 80s, software was sold in boxes, and those boxes were sold in stores. If you didn't get in the stores, you didn't have any sales. So during building the product, we were darn sure we were going to get in the stores. And then I was the sales force. I went out, contacted a bunch of stores and distributors, and we were shut out. We were so tiny. We had no venture capital. Nobody invested. And no dealer would take the product. So, I mean, that's a death sentence if you can't be where customers go to shop for software. So that game plan wasn't working. So we had to find a different play. If your playbook isn't working, find a different play and get good at it. So I kind of in desperation, I tried selling our software to banks and having banks resell it. But I didn't know anything about selling to banks. So I found a buddy of mine who's an ex-IBM salesman and really good at it to coach me on how do you sell large enterprises. And that saved our bacon. We ultimately got 10 banks operating in 11 US states to buy the software from us and then resell it to their employees, to their customers. Without that, we wouldn't be here. But then, sadly, the observation was while the first 2 banks were able to make a go of it, the subsequent 8 banks bought the inventory from us, but really weren't very good selling it. Boxes of product was not something banks really do. And after seeing 8 subsequent banks all fumble, I could no longer ethically go to the next bank and say, oh yeah, this is going to work, because the last 8 for 8 didn't. Worked for us, but they couldn't get the volumes they wanted. So suddenly that meant our only sales channel kind of disappeared on us. So this was, we'd made a little money selling to banks, and we decided we got to get another channel because it's not going to work. So we decided retail stores still didn't want our product. So we decided we'll try to sell the software directly using direct response techniques. You remember the old magazine ads, text heavy, coupon on the bottom. So again, I didn't know how to do that. So I found a guy to teach me how. He was a direct response marketing expert. And he taught me the principles, and I would sketch an ad and design it, and I'd send it to him. He'd send it back with comments, and I'd do more. And we iterated. And we took the last money we had in the company and launched those ads. And by God, they worked. By God, they worked. And then once that started generating demand, then stores actually wanted the product. And then the business started tripling. I noticed the same pattern when we had to learn how to design ease of use in software in the earliest days. We didn't know how to do that. But I went and found the best expert I could find who really knew about ease of use. And this is back in the early 80s when software was hard to use. He had great concepts, and we just employed those concepts. So generally, the learning I've got is when the game plan or the playbook isn't working, you got to find a new play, and that means you got to learn something new. So go find the best wheel maker and have them teach you. So that's my learning on resilience in adversity.
I love it. It's also the comment on learning agility and making sure you can learn from others. It's something that we've felt out of the accelerator as well. I hope the startups are learning a thing or two from our innovation process, but I've certainly learned stuff from them as well around resilience and how to pivot quickly. It's really inspiring to see them in action.
Yes, gosh, I sure wish there was an accelerator when we're getting started. I mean, it's one of the great benefits of an accelerator like Highline Beta is they've got experts on tap, so you can be learning the next play you need to master.
It's funny you described the direct market. It sounds almost like growth hacking today around how, in software you need to iterate quickly on the marketing to get that growth going. So it sounds like there was an early permutation or early version of that you were working on, which sounds really interesting. Mm-hmm. So next question, Scott. As mentioned before, this accelerator program in Canada, it's a mission-based collaboration focused on improving financial prosperity. Would love, and it's based on this concept of collaboration. Would love to hear your thoughts on the power of collaboration in the tech industry and what that could ultimately achieve.
Yeah, well, tech industry, big phrase, lots of swirls and currents of motion. I think when collaboration works best is when there's alignment on purpose. When people and different organizations are going after a shared purpose together, then they can find the opportunities to share learnings, to share opportunities. And that's, I think, what's clever about the accelerator program that you, together with the team at Highline Beta, have assembled. Is you get all the benefits of the accelerator together with the shared purpose and shared mission, so we can share opportunities, share learning, share techniques. So the Intuit Innovation Catalysts are kind of skilled coaches in the kind of techniques of innovation that we've used in financially related and small business and consumer innovation. And until this, I don't think all that came together. And I look forward with continued success for this sort of program to continue and to scale and to reach across Canada. One great thing about COVID, amongst all the wreckage, is we've all learned to work at a distance remotely. And that's helpful in countries that cover many time zones. So I think those will be, as you said, some of the positive silver lining to the cloud of COVID.
Great. Well, you mentioned Canada, Scott, around, obviously that's where we're focused here. And a lot of, companies in Canada are at some point challenged by internationalization, right? We try to grow in our backyard here, and at some point we want to scale beyond our borders and get to other markets as well. I know that you have also led Intuit through several growth phases of trying to expand, within the U.S. and then beyond the U.S. And as folks may or may not know, we're part in Canada of an international team that's trying to expand, Intuit's products and services beyond North America. Given that we have still some time here today, I was wondering if you could share some thoughts on, when you think about growth and what it means to be, a global player. And in Canada, we've had some successes like Shopify, et cetera, that are starting to hit that stage. I just wondered if you could share your thoughts on, what it means to compete globally, given that's something that Canadian companies are trying to do more of.
Yeah. Well, I think at the most foundational level, one of our folks said it well years ago. He said, if you want a big business, solve a big problem. If you want a little business, solve a little problem. So I think fundamentally it gets to the choice of problem that you solve. If you found a really big problem that's a pain point in your country and in other countries, that's the kind of foundation level. So if you're solving the problem that nobody else has solved, and that problem exists in multiple countries, that's your foundation to have a multinational, international business. Now, the second thing we found is there's a trap. The natural human mental process is to extrapolate your own experience and say, well, that must be the experience for everyone else. And that might be right. On the other hand, it's also likely that people in different countries might be different. They might have a different set of problems, or they might not have the problem that you have. So there's a trap where your gut feels might allow you to understand your own country or guess at it from your own personal experience. I wouldn't trust your personal experience to extrapolate that to other countries. So instead, that's where customer empathy comes in so importantly. We start by saying we don't assume anything that happens in the US is the right thing to do in another country. We don't assume the problem that happens in one country is the same as the problem in another country. Start instead by saying, tabula rasa, what's the most important problem we can solve for businesses in the next country? And we find the problems vary. And so what we have to build varies. There may be a core that carries over, but our goal is to be more local than the locals. That means we really have to understand the people, and in this case, the small businesses and their habits, practices, foibles, preferences, and their fears in each country to find where is that big pain point that we need to be solving. So those would be the two principles. Find the big unsolved pain point that's not solved in multiple countries, and then make sure your own assumptions or your own blinders about your own country don't cause you to misunderstand what's true in other countries. Start fresh, understanding from the ground up what's most important to your customer in France or Germany or the UK or Australia.
Love it. It's that customer empathy again, understanding that customer problem. It's core to the innovation process. It's core to how you're going to be successful as a company. And just really some of the things that we talked about with the startup group in the accelerator cohort around just conveying that process and that thinking, and they benefited from it in terms of how they've approached their problem set. So thank you so much, Scott. I think we are now close to the end of this fireside chat. There's Jason coming back online here. So
yeah, I'm reading some of the, hey Scott, I'm just reading some of the comments that are coming in from the audience, and they're awesome. A lot of people like the idea of experts on tap. They were thinking if they could just, maybe when this whole thing is over, we actually go to a physical tap and pour ourselves some experts. And what I thought was really cool about it was just how you showed your learning mindset and your growth mindset throughout your career. Some really inspirational stories there. And then when you closed it off, I think this idea of sort of think globally, but then have that local expertise to drive it home from the local customers. Really, the people are taking away a lot of great insights, and I think they're excited and ready to see how you've given back with the accelerator and what people are thinking about today.
Good. Well done.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Jason. Thank you, David.
Thanks for joining us. We all appreciate your perspective for sure. And it was, my hope is that it's inspiring and informing a whole next generation of growth mindset. And David, we're going to see you a little bit later in the show. That was an amazing conversation. Would love to know some more of your favorite takeaways. Obviously, I just shared a couple of mine and some that I might have borrowed from Julia and some other people in the chat. If there's ones that you loved, post them in the chat now. We're going to be collecting some of the best ones, sharing them back out with the community, and share some of your favorite ones on Twitter or LinkedIn. Of course, using the hashtag of the day, Intuit Demo Day. I'm on Twitter right now seeing some awesome screenshots. I just retweeted a couple of my favorite ones, one from Candace that I really liked. Some people caught some of the emojis going up. You got to be quick. Got to fire some emojis and capture them going across the screen. It was pretty awesome. So now I'd love to welcome Reanna Ridley to the stage. She's the manager of strategic partnerships at Intuit and is here to co-host this next segment of the show together with me. Welcome, Reanna.
Hi, Jason. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited. As Jason mentioned, I'm Reanna, and over this past almost a year now, I've had the unique privilege of leading the Intuit Prosperity Accelerator in partnership with some brilliant colleagues over at Intuit and Highline Beta. And what's really been inspiring is the high level of engagement within the tech ecosystem. You know, people really rallied behind this program because of its purpose. You know, these unprecedented times, they've impacted all of us in one way or in another. And, you know, self-employed individuals and small businesses, for the most part, are still struggling with their cash flow. And even those that have built business recovery plans are trying to find new ways to engage their base and find new customers. And on top of all of that, many Canadians have had their personal financial lives impacted, and they've either had to rely on government aid or dig into their savings just to stay afloat. And so I'm really excited about these 8 startups because they've been specifically selected to be part of this program because of their dedication towards building innovative solutions aimed at improving the financial lives of Canadians. And so this whole journey has led us to 4 inspiring companies that are positioned to solve for consumers, helping them get out of debt, build their savings, enable their financial literacy, and then another 4 companies that are dedicated to building out tangible solutions for self-employed individuals and small businesses, helping them improve their cash flow and acquiring new customers. Now, over the last 4 months, these 8 startups have worked collaboratively with Intuit's Innovation Catalyst. And you've heard that term a couple times today already. Essentially, these are roles that are uniquely designed to champion and implement the Design for Delight, or D4D, principles. And just to summarize some of the things that Scott mentioned in the fireside chat, Design for Delight represents the way that we innovate at Intuit. By acquiring that deep customer empathy, by going really, really, really narrow to focus on ideas that are most likely to delight our customers, and then experimenting to test and learn, we can innovate with purpose and with speed. And now our startups actually leverage this framework, and they took a deeper look at their customer challenges, and they applied this test and learn mindset to their own businesses. And really it enabled them to iterate, as well as look at new areas of opportunity. And in the end, the experimentation process has led them to, testing with new audiences, or building out plans for new products or new product features, or developing new service offerings, or even, redesigning their business model. And as a next step, the founders are going to work with their respective teams to take the biggest learnings from the program and apply it to their own internal innovation principles and deliver some really awesome ideas. And I'm really excited to see what's to come from these companies as they continue to progress and grow. And I know many of them will share some interesting announcements over the next coming months, so stay tuned for that.
Awesome. Thank you, Reanna. And before the demos get started, a few reminders on how to keep that energy up, which, Reanna, you've done a great job modeling the way, which is super exciting. But we need people in the audience to show some love to these startups. Don't you agree? Yeah, double thumbs up. All right, so here's how we're gonna do first. She's got the heart emoji going. Hey, you can heart emoji too. Give me that blue heart in the chat. I see them flying. Keep the chat bumping. All right, I want to see that chat flying. We will be sharing behind the scenes info, commentary, and more there in the chat. So if you've got questions, comments, drop them in there. The moderators are standing by and waiting to hear what you think, all right? And then I already see the virtual emoji coming in fast and furious. Make sure our startups see that. They are so pumped. They've worked so hard for this. Let's make sure they get enough virtual emoji. The emojis are free, all right? So just be liberal with the emojis and fire them across the screen. And then grab those screenshots, all right? Grab those highlights, do a screen recorder. If you don't know, Google how to do it. And we want those posted on Twitter and LinkedIn. Please use the Intuit Demo Day hashtag. And finally, if you're looking for an introduction to any of these amazing founders, again, those moderators are standing by and they're gonna be sharing links in the chat. So if you're looking for any partnerships or investment opportunities, just keep an eye out for those links. So now is the time to hear from the first 4 startups. Reanna, why don't you introduce them?
Awesome. Thanks, Jason. It's really been an honor to work with all of the founders throughout these last 4 months. And, in spending so much time with them, it's really clear that we have this shared passion for learning and innovation. And so without further ado, I would like to introduce the first cohort, who's committed to improving the lives of self-employed and small businesses by enabling new ways to access and manage funds. So we're going to start with SparkBlock, a cloud-based payments tool. Next, Otis. They are an AI-driven ad tech platform. And then they'll be followed by Rivi, a flexible payroll provider. And last, you'll hear from Dry Run, who Scott already talked about a little bit, a cash flow forecasting and financial modeling software.
Thanks, Reanna. Hi, everyone. My name is Wally Vogel, and for a long time, I've been known as the Check Tech Guy. I founded a technology company that led the way in converting paper checks to digital images and transactions. We process billions of dollars a month in accounts receivable for big business like Sun Life and Transamerica, and government from the city of Toronto to the state of California. We were able to reduce their cost to pennies per transaction. But when it came to B2B, which is most businesses, I learned about friction and that a different approach was required to help them. That's what we wanted to do, and that's where SparkPay comes in, because business can't afford friction. Right now, today in North America, B2B is losing over $75 billion a year to payment friction. According to multiple studies by Scotiabank and others, the average cost to process a B2B invoice is $15. Where's all that money going? Well, it starts with paperwork. 80% of transactions are still processed in paper form. And that means a lot of data entry. 68% of transactions are manually keyed into accounting systems today. That means data entry errors, and that leads to reconciliation, accounts receivable, and accounts payable spending time trying to balance with one another. It's all friction. Enter SparkBlock. We take a unique approach. We're an end-to-end digital solution. We get rid of the paperwork, and we synchronize the transaction for the client and the vendor. We offer deep accounting integration and complex workflows to handle the transactions. But we wrap it all in a simple and intuitive user interface that delivers a great customer experience, which has earned us all 5-star reviews from our clients, including the Ritz-Carlton residences in Toronto. Before SparkPay, bills were sent around as paper. They had to be data entered, reviewed, checks printed, checks passed around for multiple signatures, back to the office, and then if it wasn't lost on the way, it would finally make its way back to the vendor. It's a time-consuming, error-prone process with absolutely no tracking. We replace all of that with a web-based, mobile-friendly app. We maintain all the controls, but eliminate the paperwork, the data entry, and the reconciliation. And that's why our clients are saving more than 40% in their cost to process payments. And that's why we're growing quickly. 90% of our business today comes from referrals, and we're building a network effect because every new client on our network, on average, adds 6 new vendors as well. So today we're processing well over $2 million a week, but we're just getting started. And that's why we're so pleased to be part of the Intuit Accelerator program. We're already helping thousands of businesses. We want to help many more. And the Accelerator gave us the opportunity to work with the Intuit team on rapid experimentation. We focused on accounting professionals, and we were able to find ways to multiply the referral rate I talked about. Thanks to that work, we can help even more businesses through this difficult time. And that's more important than ever, because now, more than ever, businesses can't afford friction. Please check out our website or reach out to me. We'd love to talk more about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Wally. I'm Miguel, the co-founder and CEO of Otis. Otis is an AI-driven growth solution for small businesses. We're a digital marketing automation platform that allows them to leverage the data that they already have, their first-party data, to launch high-performing cross-channel marketing campaigns. Small businesses have always understood the value of advertising, and the pandemic has accelerated a shift in behavior towards the importance of having an online presence in order to reach and engage with their customers. The problem is that agencies are expensive, ad platforms are very confusing, and small business owners don't have the time and sophistication in order to learn these best practices. So where can they turn? With Otis, we're making data-driven digital marketing simple and accessible for businesses of any size that want to compete and grow in the digital age. Since 2019, we've grown rapidly. We have over a $1.2 million annual run rate and have sustained over 20% month-over-month revenue growth. With our solution, we allow small businesses to leverage the first-party customer and transaction data that they already have in their POS platforms or e-commerce platforms, and this allows us to facilitate high-performing targeting, attribution, and audience segmentation for those businesses. With Otis, they can effectively reach their customers on Facebook, Instagram, and Google, as well as anywhere they're online, including connected television through our demand-side partnerships. In addition, we have powerful integrated partnerships with companies like Fiserv, which allow us to leverage enormous third-party data sources to enhance this targeting and attribution for small businesses. And this is something we're proud to say that we're partnering with Intuit QuickBooks to do as well. All of this functionality comes in the form of a simple-to-use mobile application that enables a user to publish a cross-channel optimized campaign in under 5 minutes. Our mission is to empower all kinds of small businesses through digital marketing. Today, we target these segments, focusing on online retail and services business. We're helping them achieve that with up to 40 times return on investment, and on average, 7 times, which is about 2.5 times the current average on Facebook and Google. We're helping them grow and overcome the adversity in COVID-19 and beyond by growing their customer base. We've made a lot of progress in our business so far, and we have a long way to go. In September 19, we closed our angel round of $500K from former C-level executives at Fiserv and JP Morgan Chase to launch our private beta. In May, we did our full product launch with paid subscription models. And since then, we've exceeded 20% month-over-month growth for 9 consecutive months. And we're proud to say that we're closing our seed round in March, which will enable us to reach and change the lives of 1,385 paid subscriptions, which are new businesses that can use Otis to grow their business within the next 18 months. I'm Miguel, the CEO of Otis, and together with my co-founder, Clarence, our CRO, we're leveling the playing field to give small businesses a chance. Please feel free to reach out to us to discuss Otis, and we're happy to talk with you and learn more about what you are building too.
Hi, my name is Arshad Mrali, and I'm the founder of Rivi. We develop software that enables businesses to offer flexible payroll benefits to their employees. Have you ever wondered why you get paid every 2 weeks or every month? How does that affect your personal finances? We know that 50% of Canadians are living paycheck to paycheck. And while our friends, neighbors, and coworkers are struggling financially, we all need to show up to work. But with all this financial stress, how can you focus? In fact, this costs businesses billions of dollars a year in lost productivity and employee turnover. Great companies know that top talent is what they require, and in order to offer them the best benefits they want and need. In fact, payroll is the OG of benefits. Rivi's payroll platform allows businesses to not only automate their manual payroll processes, but we empower employees to choose when they get paid based on their own personal circumstances, and then give them the tools that they need to better manage their money. And as Scott Cook mentioned earlier, problems that are experienced the world over are the best problems for us to solve. Our unified platform is really with the heartbeat of the payroll and running the real-time calculations. We know that businesses want real-time insights, and we're able to remove payroll information off their balance sheet. On the employee side, our super app allows businesses, or employees, to better understand and manage their money. And while we're seeing different companies doing different things, we haven't seen any improvement to payroll since the late 1970s. While we see the adoption of earned wage access happening recently, really another way of a payday loan, we appreciate the fact that it brings a lot more light to this problem of people living paycheck to paycheck. In terms of competitors, we run with the traditional payroll companies as well as the earned wage access companies. But with our flexible payroll platform and real-time calculation engine, we are one of the few companies focused on personal financial wellness that runs to the employee. In fact, we're currently testing some of our product with a limited number of customers, including some Intuit customers that have given us some great feedback, and we hope to be live with our product at the end of the year. Initially, we tracked construction and grocery industries, as those are the companies that have seen significant growth during the pandemic and are in need of solutions such as ours. Myself and Alex have tremendous amounts of experience within this industry. I have years of experience doing payroll and workforce management, and Alex has tremendous experience in developing large-scale performing enterprises. We're currently doing a raise and looking for some talented individuals to help us. If you're interested, please feel free to reach out. Again, in closing, I'd like to say thank you, and I hope that some of you will enjoy us on our mission to improve people's lives. Thank you.
Hi there, my name is Blaine Birch, and I'm co-founder and CEO at DryRun. Here at DryRun, we are enabling the accounting profession to generate new revenue streams through business advisory. The accounting profession is under massive disruption. Today, accounting firms are faced with 3 key challenges: reducing client turnover, offering new valuable services, and attracting new clients. A shift to business advisory is the much discussed but difficult to implement solution for the profession. Automation, artificial intelligence, and machine learning are replacing many of the compliance and tax services that traditionally drive firm revenue. Business advisory services unlock new revenue streams, attract new clients, and drive firm growth. DryRun delivers a tailor-made platform for offering integrated, effective communication with clients, answering the most fundamental questions. How long can your clients stay afloat, and how do they grow? DryRun equips advisors to help their clients monitor, manage, and model their finances on a weekly basis. Here's how DryRun delivers the goods. First, our Insights panel delivers weekly financial metrics to clients in a clear and efficient way, prompting conversations between advisor and client. The Insights panel you see here was central to our project within the accelerator. Even going through numerous iterations, one thing was clear: pro advisors want insights. So much so that we've already built the beta version into DryRun, and our pro advisor partners are already delivering insights to their clients. Next, DryRun helps advisors stay on top of client cash flow, delivering action lists and risk analysis on a weekly basis, leading to regular recurring revenue for the firm. And finally, DryRun's superpower, financial modeling, where advisors can collaborate with their clients to help them make informed decisions. The high-level advisory services built on financial modeling creates a competitive advantage for the firm, attracting new high-value clients. Our experienced team is targeting the rapidly growing $40 billion advisory market, while our go-to-market strategy is laser-focused on 50,000 US-based accounting firms to gain traction fast. We've already hit some critical milestones. We were selected as a top 10 new app by Intuit shortly after our launch. We were part of the AI CPA Accelerator, where we discovered the key challenges the CPA profession faces and how we can be part of the solution. We debuted our new partner program for business advisors last fall, and it already accounts for over 40% of our revenue. In order to rapidly accelerate our growth among the business advisory market, we are raising a round of financing this year with our eyes on 500 partners in 2022 and a Series A to scale. We are revolutionizing business advisory through the world's best financial modeling and cash management software. Again, my name is Blaine Birch. I would love to hear from you. Please reach out or connect with me on LinkedIn, and visit dryrun.com to book a consultation with one of our team. Thank you so much for your time.
All right, and that is round one. Sorry, I was just thinking, dryrun.com. How did they get that domain? That's unbelievable. And we are now at the halfway point, which means it's time for a TechTO vibe check. If you are loving the energy as much as I am, we've got some brand new fresh emojis loaded up into the emoji cannon. So let's see them go. I'd love to see how you're feeling right now. Look, if you're feeling a little hard-eyed, all right, I hear that. Oh, I'm seeing some sunglasses going on. People are kicking back, relaxing. Some party hats. Very nice. People are feeling the vibe. I love that. I myself am clicking the mind blown face of the exploding head, I believe, because I am loving the conversations that are happening in the chat. I love what I'm hearing on the stage, and we got to keep it going during round two. So remember, keep an eye out on those links. They're being shouted out underneath the presentations where you can click and put in your information, get connected directly with the startups presenting. And don't forget about the prizes that you can win. Reanna, are you ready to introduce the final four? Come on back up and bring us through the home stretch here.
Amazing. Thanks, Jason. All right, guys. So in this next section, you'll hear from 4 founders with an infectious mission to improve the lives of Canadians. Their solutions uniquely solve for financial preparedness. So first up, you're going to hear from Willful, an online estate planning tool, followed by HomeWise, a technology-driven mortgage provider. And then you'll hear from Emma, an end-to-end online life insurance platform. And last but not least, to close out the session, Paper and Coin, a financial literacy community and app for millennials.
Hello, everyone. Well, when I got married, there was one brand that guided me through every aspect of the wedding planning process, The Knot, which is a go-to for brides. But when I experienced another major life event, the death of a family member, I had no idea where to turn and no centralized resource to help with what was a very complex, manual, and fragmented process. Even though there are twice as many deaths as there are weddings every year in Canada, no company centralizes death services like the Knot does for weddings, which leads to wasted money and time and emotional drain during an already emotional time. At Willful, we're streamlining the process of preparing for and dealing with death into one platform, creating an accessible, affordable resource for Canadian families. We launched in 2017 with our first product, online wills and power of attorney documents. A whopping 57% of Canadian adults, 16 million people, and probably many of you watching, don't have a will, and a will is the natural entry point to estate planning. Without one, family members waste thousands on legal fees, and it can take months longer for money to end up in beneficiaries' pockets. We've called ourselves the TurboTax for estate planning long before being accepted into this program. And like TurboTax, our program makes it easier, more accessible, and more affordable to complete a very complex task. It's a matter of when, not if, a company will become the go-to brand for death services in Canada. And we've already become the top estate planning brand in 3 short years, even though our legacy competitor has been around for 20. Since launch, we've created over 50,000 documents for customers in 8 provinces, and we've also become a beloved brand, as evidenced by our hundreds of 5-star reviews and countless glowing media profiles. That brand equity has also attracted partners like Sonnet Insurance, CAA, and League. And of course, it's led companies like Intuit to accept us into amazing programs like this one. We'll all have to face wrapping up a loved one's life in the coming years, which means planning funerals, preparing wills, handling probate, and taking care of the end-of-life process. When someone passes away, it typically takes 12 to 18 months to wrap up their estate. And that's in simple cases. Prince passed away in 2016, and his estate is still winding its way through the courts 5 years later. And the stakes have never been higher because we're on the cusp of the largest wealth transfer in history between the boomers and the next generations. Wills are just one small piece of the estate planning puzzle, and this Intuit program has taught us all about how to apply the Design for Delight methodology to use customer empathy to drive our product roadmap. Regardless of what we build next, the common thread will be user-friendly, accessible digital products that simplify an opaque process. The Knot started with one tiny piece of weddings and expanded to become a massive business by monetizing every step along that journey. We're just applying that model to a different life event. Think about it. Can you name one brand that is synonymous with death in Canada? If not, then you'll see the opportunity to propel Willful into that spot. We hope you'll join us.
Hey everyone, my name is Jesse Abrams. I'm the co-founder of HomeWise, the easiest way to get the best mortgage. Buying a home is one of the most exciting times in someone's life, but getting a mortgage really sucks. It's inconvenient, inefficient, so confusing with a ton of penalties, and it's really biased. If you go to one bank, you're only getting their one option. On top of that, that's costing home buyers thousands of dollars. That's why we started HomeWise. At HomeWise, we simplify the mortgage process with automation and predictive technology to save our clients time, confusion, and a lot of money. It starts off with a really easy online application that takes only 5 minutes. It takes clients each step of the way through the process. Then our predictive technology goes to work, negotiating with over 30 banks and lenders to tailor the mortgage options specifically for these clients' needs. And unlike the other guys that just show a rate, we show our clients an overview of the lender, the rate, and the key features that will save them the most money, providing unbiased options and overall providing that transparency that will help our borrowers save money today and into the future. From there, each of our borrowers are set up with a personal advisor from our team with a ton of automation along the way to make the process faster and easier than ever before and save our clients a lot of money. But the real meat of this is on our back end, through our intelligent recommendation system. This is where we shift from human opinion to data intelligence. It starts off with something we call Mortgage Match, which uses AI to match our individual clients of all different types across Canada with the right mortgage options from thousands of different lender options. Then we score clients to guide their journey and price them based on their level of elasticity. Our goal is to move from an old model where you might need 10 advisors to do what one super-powered HomeWise advisor can do. That's why we've seen consistent growth since launching in 2019, tripling our revenue year over year in an over $3 billion TAM marketplace. However, we always say that we call ourselves HomeWise, not MortgageWise, for a reason. We look at HomeWise being the center of the home buying experience, connecting our consumers with all different areas of the home buying journey to go from a completely disjointed model to a really simplified model where we live at the center, providing more value to our clients and extracting more revenue for our business. We have a B2C and a B2B2C model. My background's all in B2C, and that's been great so far. But being part of the Intuit Prosperity Accelerator, we've learned a lot about the B2B2C model, where our application actually lives directly within a partner's experience. And we've also partnered with big companies like Sana Insurance and are excited to continually build this out. We have an incredible team that we're working with, both from our internal team as well as a group of advisors from marketing, lenders, AI, and overall continually building out the mortgage space. We recently closed a $3 million seed round of financing, so I'd love to discuss that further with you and show you how HomeWise is the easier, faster, and friendlier way to get the best mortgage. And best of all, for our clients, it's completely free. Thank you so much.
Great pitch, Jesse. So this is a picture of my wife and our little Emily. How do they look to you? They look very happy to me. But what if today was my last pitch? If this morning was the last time I kissed them goodbye? What if I was part of the 40% North Americans who don't carry life insurance? 40% is a lot. And we all know that if I want to protect my wife and my little baby girl, I need a life insurance. So why doesn't it appeal to younger generation? Maybe it's because life insurance company build something that is time consuming with a rewardless experience and filled with puzzling products. That's a fact. For the past 100 years, life insurance carriers products aim to be sold by salesmen. Also, before Emma, pregnant women were often refused by life insurance companies. For us, creating life should not be treated as a disease. Younger generation expect to be in the center of everything we build. They expect to be treated with care. That's why our proprietary life insurance products are the first to not discriminate pregnant women. Our solution is fully mobile, only takes 20 minutes. We build in-house simple life insurance products. We chat with empathy, and we make instant approval. We have created a term life insurance, a whole life insurance, and the simplest child rider on the market. And since we launched our proprietary insurance products in March 2020, we sold thousands of policies. Moreover, when you compare Emma to the other D2C life insurance company, it's clear that we're building the top customer-centric experience. With more than 750 reviews on Trustpilot, we got the best rating. We also received much more reviews in the last 90 days than any competitors on the market. And on top of that, the average age of Emma's customer is 10 years younger than the competition. Also, 70% of our customers are the decision maker of families, mothers. With those results, in 10 years, we are going to have an unfair advantage. We are now at a 2 million ARR and going to be over 10 million in 2022. Emma is not just building a great business. We made life insurance relevant to new generations. Thank you for listening to my pitch today. Don't worry, today is probably not my last pitch. Probably not the last time I kiss them goodbye, but I can assure you that Emma protects a lot of families every day.
Hi, I'm Octavia, and these are my grandparents. In 1976, after immigrating to Canada just 2 years earlier, they were able to save up and buy a home for their family of 6. My generation, though, the barriers are a lot higher, and the financial picture is not as idyllic. Over the last 2 years alone, the cost of living has shot up by 30%, yet wages haven't budged in over a decade. So it's no wonder that millennials say that money is their #1 cause of stress. This problem is only made worse by the fact that Canadian millennials were not taught financial literacy in school, and they can't afford to hire a financial planner. It's time to disrupt and democratize financial planning. And that's where we come in. We are Paper and Coin, a financial planning company that's helped hundreds of millennials manage their money through personalized coaching, online courses, and through creative content. From a nationally distributed magazine to live events and strategic partnerships, we've been able to build a brand that's unique in the financial space and one that actually has millennials excited to engage with us. So now we're creating a digital solution that will allow us to reach and help even more millennials gain financial control and confidence. Here's how it works. Users begin their journey by answering a few basic questions about their money and lifestyle goals. And based on their answers, they'll receive a free automated financial plan. Then they'll be invited to initiate and activate their plan through a monthly or annual paid subscription to the app. They can then set their goals, track their progress, and even earn credits based on how well they engage with the app. But we also want millennials to understand money, which is why through AI-driven educational content, they'll be able to understand what they need to know about money, but never had the chance to learn in school. And best of all, users will be able to actually stay accountable to their goals and their plan by getting personalized guidance from a human certified financial planner. And this is the team that's going to make it happen. We're a diverse team of financial, tech, and marketing experts who are passionate about helping our generation. And we're confident that this app will be successful because according to research, over half of millennials say that they would hire a financial planner if it was less expensive. And even in our own Prosperity Accelerator experiments, 100% of respondents confirmed this. And people have been paying for our monthly subscription to our pilot coaching program. That's why we're now raising a seed round so that we can hire more technical roles to be able to build our product and to scale our subscriber base and our business. At Paper and Coin, we are ready to democratize financial planning and to give millennials a chance to reach the dreams that generations before us were able to enjoy. Thank you.
All right, a big round of digital, virtual emoji applause for all of the startups. If you would like to connect with one of those amazing founders or win one of the prizes, including a copy of the Lean Analytics book, a VIP Intuit box, or one of the 5 Canada Helps charity gift cards, you got to head to the chat now. Do we still have time to enter? Let me see. Bringing it up. I think you still have time to enter in all those Google Forms. They're all in there. You can head up and yes, there it is. Don't miss out on the prizes. You all be getting a free ebook if you enter right now. Those links are being posted for you to win. Now, let's take a second and reflect on today's demos and what makes this cohort so special. To do that, help me welcome back David from Intuit Canada, who's going to be joined by Marcus Daniels from Highline Beta. David and Marcus, let's get some final takeaways from today. First, I got to know, what was the most fun you had at today's event? Marcus, you go first. What was the most fun thing you had today?
Well, that's been amazing demos, ultimately. I mean, Scott's presentation was fantastic, lots of insight there, but specifically, accelerators are always about the founders and having a spotlight on them and talking about how they collaborate with Intuit and really having this shared purpose was amazing.
Love it. Absolutely. And David, what about for you?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen our startups in action. I know that they just feel like a part of our team. Honestly, there's such a great culture fit and we all feel like a big family. But I got to say, Jason, the energy you've brought to this and like the way that you've engaged the audience is just great. I hope everyone else
I'll do startups. I'll do Scott. I'll do like a very long middle, and then I'll put me at the bottom. What my favorite part, though, you guys already took 2 of the best ones. I thought the chat was just hopping. It was so much fun to read. Very, very funny comments in there. My favorites, Glocal, I thought was doing very well up there, which was great. Glocal. And yeah, you got to read the chat. Marcus, I got to ask you. You have a really special partnership here. What makes this program so special in your opinion?
Well, I mean, let's start with, bold vision, but specifically fast action. I mean, look at the context of this particular program. It started really within 30 days of a global pandemic. So, when you really think about that for a second, normally if you're porting up any sort of program, it takes 6 to 9 months to design, to get, internal approvals, but how, Intuit really galvanized internally to really put this into action, really operating really at the speed of the startups in this program, I think was fantastic. So I think real hats off to Intuit's Canada's leaderships with David and the Intuit team.
Awesome. And actually, Ben and I were going back and forth in the chat. We think another awesome thing we could have come out of this program would be a real life emoji cannon. People have been loving the virtual emoji cannon. So we think there's a lot of prosperity locked up in there. It'd be great to work on together. David, I'm so pumped from hearing from all these demos and from your chat from Scott. Tell me, everyone who's watching right now, what can they look forward to next?
Yeah, you bet. Well, as we know, innovation is a lot about experimentation. And that's what Scott kind of highlighted a bit about our process, that it's this rapid experimentation. Try something, maybe it doesn't work. If it does, gains traction, you build on it. So, we'd love to build on this program. We want to evolve it to ensure that the point is still the same, which is the mission of driving prosperity across the world. But we want to look at new challenge areas that we can kind of have the greatest impact in. So I think what's a really exciting opportunity is to look at the intersection point, the Venn diagram, if you will, across the mission of powering prosperity for Canada, financial prosperity during these times. Yeah. Canada's emerging strength in AI and machine learning. This is something that we talk about a lot in Canada. So maybe something there. And then Intuit's own AI-powered platform. Like, we're trying to build a financial prosperity platform similar to what you would see, Shopify having an e-commerce based platform, a one-stop shop. We're trying to do the same for consumers and SMBs around financial platform. And so that may be something that plays in that space. We might look at different stage startups, potentially those that are earlier, but also later in their tenure, and that specialize perhaps in this kind of prosperity, financial, and AI space. And the plan is to open up applications for this next accelerator later this summer, likely in June rather. And then, so if there's folks that are interested that are watching right now and signing up, we'll have that information available for folks to see. So yeah, that would be, I think, what's next, how we're thinking about it.
I love that. And what's immediately next is we're going to be doing some networking. I know you guys are going to be hanging out in the networking tool in the venue. Tell me, who are you excited to connect with? And, if you've got open questions or points you want to clarify, like, who would you love to most run into at the networking session right after this? Marcus, you want to start?
Yeah, I mean, people I haven't met before. I mean, the Tech Toronto community is so broad, that in the ecosystem, we have a lot of people video conferencing throughout the country and even from south of the border. So it'd be great to connect with some new folks today.
Awesome. David, who are you hoping for?
People that have a shared vision and passion for what we can do in Canada across boundaries to move with more purpose and velocity in tech. That's why we're here today. That's why we've sort of leveraged this community to get the message out, and would love to meet with like-minded folks.
Awesome. Well, I got good news for both of you. We have over 200 of those ready, willing, and able to hang out and meet with us right now. So thank you so much for sharing, David. Thank you so much for sharing, Marcus. We love learning from leaders like David, like Scott, like Marcus, like Reanna, and the 8 amazing founders that all demoed today. We are so glad to have welcomed all of you to the TechTO stage and hope to see you back here soon. In fact, we've got an event coming up celebrating International Women's Day. We'll be talking about women leading the future of technology on Wednesday, March 10th. That is 1 week tomorrow. We'll see you there. Now, it's time for all of us to share and learn from each other. This is the networking event that I just spoke about. The fun is far from over. In just a few minutes, our virtual networking will begin. Here's how it's going to work. First, I will disappear. Then you will be magically transported to a page that says, "Get ready to network." Click that button and then approve access to your camera and microphone if you haven't already. And the system is going to automatically match you with David, with Scott, with Marcus, with Reanna, with me, someone else here at the event that's looking to chat and explore the future of the Canadian tech ecosystem together. And remember, be kind, be generous, be curious, ask questions, and see how you can help each other win together. There's going to be a timer. It's going to be right up here. It's going to automatically end your conversation after 4 minutes, and it goes by fast. So watch out. There's going to be people's LinkedIn information in their profile at the bottom. So definitely click and connect to continue the conversation. And then you'll do it again and again and again, because we're going to leave networking open. So please stick around, make new connections, help us push the community forward. If you haven't updated your LinkedIn or profile yet, do it up here with your initials or profile. Click that and add it in now. And if you become best friends in those 4 minutes, grab a screenshot, post it using the hashtag TechTO. We're going to leave it open. So we are going to be so excited to see what connections are made today, or as my grandmother would say, what shidduchs are made today. Thank you again for joining. We can't wait to see you back at a TechTO soon.